So, what if you had to start all over again? I mean, from absolute zero. Today, we're going to walk through a powerful 6 step framework for building wealth from scratch. And this isn't just theory, it's a story about someone who was told he had no future and then proved everyone wrong. Let's get into it. Can you imagine hearing that? You're 16 years old, and your teacher looks you in the eye and tells you you're going to amount to nothing. For the guy whose journey we're following, this wasn't just some random comment. He felt like an outcast, always getting into trouble just for asking questions. A sentence like that could have been the end of his story. But it wasn't. Because he did this. He took that negativity and used it as rocket fuel. He dropped out of school with absolutely nothing. No qualifications, no cash, not a clue what to do next. And somehow, he still became a millionaire in just a few short years. The question is, how on earth did he pull that off? Well, starting from ground zero meant he had to figure it all out the hard way, through a ton of trial and error. And that's exactly why this guide exists. It's the roadmap he wishes someone had handed him back then, starting with the most important part of all. See, before you even think about buying stocks or looking at real estate, you have to pour the foundation. And that foundation is built with two things and two things only: your mindset and your skills. Let's tackle the first one, which is all about rewiring the way you think about money. Okay, here is the absolute key. The reason most people never build real wealth. They treat investing as an afterthought. It's what they do with the little bit of money that's left over at the end of the month. The winning move is to flip that script completely. You don't invest what's left after spending, you spend what's left after investing. You can basically break people down into a few groups, but let's focus on the two extremes. On one side, you've got the waster. They earn money, they spend it. Simple. On the other side, you've got the winner. A winner operates on a completely different level. They earn money for the specific purpose of investing it. They see every dollar not as something to buy a coffee with, but as a worker they can send out to make more money for them. They know that money does grow on trees, if you plant it right. Getting that winner mindset is step one. So once you've got your head in the right place, the next step is to actually increase how much money you can bring in. And there's this fantastic analogy about two surfers that explains this perfectly. It really shows why waiting around for your big break is a total sucker's game. So first up, meet Cooper. Cooper paddles out into the ocean, and he just sits there on his board, scanning the horizon. He's only looking for that one perfect giant wave. He lets all the small and medium-sized waves pass him by, thinking they're beneath him. The problem? Most days, that perfect wave never shows up, and he goes home without catching a single thing. And then you've got Dwayne. Dwayne's got a totally different strategy. He paddles out, and he goes for everything. Big waves, small waves, messy waves, it doesn't matter. He's not waiting for perfection, he's just focused on getting his reps in, on getting a tiny bit better with every single ride. He's constantly in the action. So when that epic, once-in-a-decade wave finally starts to form, what do you think happens? Dwayne, who's got hundreds of hours of practice under his belt, is ready for it. He paddles hard, pops up, and has the ride of his life. And Cooper, the guy who was just waiting, he gets absolutely crushed. He wasn't ready for the opportunity when it came. And that story perfectly captures how you should approach increasing your value. Don't sit around waiting for some get-rich-quick lottery ticket. Be like Dwayne. Spend your time catching small waves, developing valuable skills that you can use anywhere. Things like public speaking, getting good at negotiation, creating content, or even a hands-on trade like plumbing. Every skill you build makes you better and prepares you for those big opportunities when they finally roll in. All right, so you've got the winner's mindset, you're constantly building your skills. Now it's time to actually put your money to work. We're talking about firing up the growth engines, investing in stocks, and more importantly, building your own assets. Step 3 is super practical. You have to open the accounts. This is non-negotiable. You need a place for your money to actually grow without you touching it. This means systematically, automatically, putting a chunk of your income into the stock market. You know, a really simple way to start is with broad index funds like an S&P 500 fund. It just means you're buying a tiny slice of hundreds of the biggest companies all at once. This is your foundation. Now, investing in the stock market is crucial, don't get me wrong. But step 4 is where you can really pour gasoline on the fire. This is about going from being a passenger in someone else's company to being the driver of your own. And this story of two investors, John and Alex, shows you exactly what I mean. Okay, check this out. John is doing everything right. He's putting his extra cash into stocks every month. His wealth is growing for sure. But then look at Alex. Alex does the exact same thing with stocks, but he also uses his spare time to start a little craft beer business on the side. Fast forward 5 years. John's portfolio is looking pretty good. But Alex, His business has taken off like a rocket. His wealth hasn't just grown, it's exploded. Why? Because he wasn't just buying assets, he was building one. And that leads us right into the final phase of this whole journey, actually reaching financial freedom. You've built the foundation, you've started the engines. These last two steps are all about making sure that wealth sticks around for good. Now, I know this step sounds a little crazy. We're all taught that debt is the enemy, right? Cut up your credit cards, pay off your mortgage. But that's only half the story. There's bad debt, which you use to buy stuff that goes down in value, and then there's smart debt. Smart debt is when you borrow money to buy assets that make you more money. It's a powerful tool if you know how to use it. And here is a classic example of how that works. Think of it like a real-life game of Monopoly. Step 1, you buy a rundown house for, say, 100 grand. Step 2, you put in some work, renovate it, and now it's worth 200 grand. Step 3, you go back to the bank and say, hey, this property is worth more now, and you refinance. You get a bigger loan. That lets you pull your profit out in tax-free cash. And what do you do with that cash? Step 4, you use it as a down payment on the next property. Lather, rinse, repeat. And that brings us to the final and maybe the most profound step of all. This is the secret that truly separates people who are rich for a little while from families who are wealthy for generations. The goal is not to spend the money you've built up. The goal is to spend only the income that your money generates for you.
Here's the best way to think about it. Your entire investment portfolio is a money tree. Your number one job is to protect that tree and help it grow bigger every single year. The money you live on, that's just the fruit that the tree produces. Maybe it's an 8 or 10% return each year. You can eat all the fruit you want, but you never ever chop down the tree. That's how you ensure you have fruit forever.
So really, it all comes down to this super simple idea. Every single dollar that comes into your life is a seed, and with every seed, you have a choice. You can eat it right now by spending it and get a little bit of temporary satisfaction, or you can plant that seed in your money tree where it can grow and provide for you for the rest of your life. And that's really the only question that matters. It doesn't matter where you're starting from. It doesn't matter what your teacher told you when you were 16. All that matters is what you choose to do with the seeds you have right now. So starting today, how many are you going to plant?